the longer we stay in observation, one of the first insights that we have is that we are not our thoughts. Whereas in the beginning, and this happens throughout our practice, it's like we come in and out. There is this enmeshment with the thoughts that we're receiving that it's hard to separate ourselves as something outside of our thoughts. They've got such a pull. And we call this identification. Identification is when my identity becomes wrapped around the story of what my thoughts are saying. And I'm unable to, in the moment, recognize that actually it's just thinking and that I have the capacity to be out here, separate from that, witnessing. So the disidentification is an amazing leap within the practice. Because with the disidentification and knowing that we're not our thoughts, we don't take the thoughts so seriously anymore. Mm-hmm. We know it's just this thing that the mind is doing. And when we're disidentified and have that separation, we have perspective. And that perspective is what we call equanimity, where we no longer become so activated by what we're thinking or what the story is. And this will actually carry over not to just our relationship with the thoughts. This will start to carry over also with our relationship to experiences. So that whereas before we might have become really identified with an experience and thinking, oh, why did this happen to me? Or, oh, this always happens to me. Or what does this mean? It's really like, no, that's just an experience. And I'm just becoming identified with it. I'm making it about me.
Wow.
This also will start happening in relationships. Whereas, somebody does something that I don't like, and automatically I make it about me. Like I blame them. I make it either about them or I make it about me, or I create a story, or they're disrespectful of my time. And, this is a habit that they have and this is who they are. And instead, I just see it as like, oh, there's just this thing that happened and I'm becoming identified and activated over it. And actually, it's separate. It's just this thing that happens. So we get much more into this witnessing mode. And the more we are able to stay in this witnessing mode, we start realizing, actually, we can be in this witnessing mode. It doesn't matter what happens around. And a lot of the energy that we were spinning out, or blaming, judging, trying to change how things are, trying to change the other person, all of that is liberated. And along with that comes ease. Mm-hmm. And so when we're talking about mindfulness, when people say, oh, you get calm, to me, this is the ultimate calm that you're getting. It's not the feeling that you're feeling relaxed and calm. It's the deep understanding of the nature of how we relate to what is happening. And how, when we latch on to it and become identified, it generates a lot of unnecessary suffering. Mm-hmm. Also, with having that energy liberated, what that does is it gives us more awareness, availability of awareness. And it can become a positive feedback. Now, mind you, we can revert to becoming very easily identified again. This isn't a linear progression, right? If I don't get enough sleep, if I don't eat well, if I'm activated enough, I'm going to identify. And so this is one of the beauties, is sometimes it takes us becoming really identified to realize how painful that is, to once again reaffirm that the other alternative is a possibility that might be healthier for us. So there's no shame and there's no blame in getting lost or caught again, because that too serves to support the insight of how easily we can become enmeshed with something, and that there is this kind of coming in and coming out that's just a natural part of our way of being. And this can very easily be seen in meditation. I've noticed this morning, actually this whole week, really dropping into embodiment, really dropping with physical sensation. And there's just this quietness, really deep quietness, and very quickly popping out of like, what's going on? Oh my God, my mind's not doing anything. Oh, this is it. This is it. This is the state. Okay, how do I hold on to this? What do I do? How do I, and I'm back popped out. And then I'm thinking, oh man, I've been doing this for how many years, and I can't, so I'm becoming identified again, and then it's just like, oh, identification. I'm identifying with what's happening. Oh, get back into the body, right? And then drop back in. So it's just a cycle that comes in and out, in and out. But overall, you've reached the view to know that there is this thing that we do that's habitual, and it makes it easier to remember as we get caught over and over.